You feel it, don't you? That gnawing feeling deep inside, like you're living beneath your potential, like there's more to you, but you're stuck. Let me tell you something, and I need you to hear this loud and clear. Weakness isn't just a state of body, it's a state of mind. And it's killing your dreams, your ambition, your power. Life doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care how tired you are, how unfair things have been, or how many times you've been knocked down. The clock keeps ticking, the world keeps spinning, and the opportunities you keep wishing for are passing you by while you sit and rationalize why you can't. That's the hard truth. Nobody's coming to save you. And that might sound harsh, but it's also liberating because it means you don't need anyone's permission to rise up and take control. Every time you give yourself an excuse, you're handing over your power. You're telling the world that your circumstances define you. But guess what? They don't. You do. Your actions, your decisions, and your ability to push forward when everything in you wants to stop. That's what defines you. Excuses are seductive because they make failure feel comfortable. But comfort is a slow death, a trap that keeps you weak. The moment you decide to stop explaining away your shortcomings and start attacking them head on is the moment you take your first step toward becoming unstoppable. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you, telling you to take it easy, to avoid risks, to stay safe. But comfort is the silent killer of dreams. It's the warm blanket that smothers ambition, the soft pillow that lets potential slip away. You don't grow in comfort, you stagnate. Think about it. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're stepping further away from the person you could be. You're choosing the easy path, the familiar routine, the unthreatening option, and with every choice, you shrink. You stay the same while the world moves forward. And here's the truth. Staying the same isn't staying safe. It's falling behind. Greatness lives where comfort doesn't. It lives in the late nights, the early mornings, the sweat, the sacrifice, the pain that most people run from. It's not meant to be easy. If it were, everyone would do it. But the fact that it's hard is what makes it worthwhile. Comfort is cheap. Purpose is priceless. So which one are you going to choose? Fear is powerful. It has a way of stopping you in your tracks, making you question your worth, your abilities, and your dreams. But here's the thing. Fear isn't meant to paralyze you. It's meant to challenge you. Fear is the signal that you're standing at the edge of something significant. It's not a wall, it's a door. And on the other side of that door is everything you've been waiting for. Most people see fear and turn back. They think it's a sign to stop, to retreat to the safety of what they know. But those who achieve greatness see it differently. They know that fear is an invitation. It's a test, asking if you're ready to step into the next version of yourself. When you run from fear, it grows. It gets bigger, stronger, more intimidating. But when you face it, when you take one step toward it, no matter how small, it starts to shrink. You realize it was never as big as you made it out to be. Fear thrives on avoidance, but it crumbles under action. So the question isn't whether you'll feel fear. You will. The question is, what will you do when it shows up? Will you let it keep you small, or will you step through it and claim what's on the other side? Discipline is often misunderstood. People think it's about restriction, about saying no to everything fun or enjoyable. But the truth is, discipline isn't a cage, it's a key. It's the key to freedom, the kind of freedom that only comes when you're in control of yourself, your habits, and your choices. Weakness thrives in chaos. When your life is a mess, when your days are unplanned, your goals are unclear, and your actions are inconsistent, it's easy to fall into bad habits and excuses. It's easy to say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm too tired today. Chaos gives weakness room to grow. But discipline brings order. It sets the stage for strength to take root and flourish. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about showing up every single day, no matter how you feel. It's waking up early to work on your goals when your bed feels like the most comfortable place in the world. It's choosing to push through discomfort because you know the reward is worth it. And here's the best part. Discipline gets easier the more you practice it. What feels impossible today becomes second nature tomorrow. And when you've mastered discipline, you'll realize that the freedom to live life on your terms To be strong, capable, and unstoppable was always worth the effort. Your story is yours to write, but too many people live as if someone else is holding the pen. They let their circumstances, their failures, and their pain dictate who they are and where they're going. But here's the truth. You are not a victim of your story. You're the author of it. You can rewrite it anytime you choose. The problem is, most people get stuck in the chapters they don't like. They replay the mistakes, the heartbreaks, the moments of weakness, and let those define them. They wear their failures like a label, convincing themselves that they're unworthy, incapable, or broken. But let me ask you this. If your story were a book, would you stop reading in the middle of the struggle? Or would you push forward to see how the hero rises? Owning your story means taking responsibility, not for the things that happen to you, but for how you respond to them. It means deciding that your past is not a prison, but a foundation. Every setback, every hardship, every moment of doubt is fuel. It's the material you use to build something extraordinary. You've got the power to flip the script, to take every I can't and turn it into watch me, to take every failure and use it as a stepping stone towards success. But it starts with one decision: to stop letting life write your story for you and start writing it yourself. The pen is in your hand. What will you do with it? Your mind is like a computer, constantly running programs. Some of those programs help you succeed. They drive your focus, discipline, and ambition. But others, they sabotage you. They whisper doubts, feed excuses, and convince you to settle for less. Excuses are like viruses in your mental programming. They slow you down, distort your vision, and if left unchecked, they'll crash your system. Think about it. How often do you catch yourself saying, I'm too tired, I don't have time, or it's too hard? Those are excuses. Tiny lies you tell yourself to justify staying in your comfort zone. But here's the hard truth. Excuses don't care about your goals. They don't care about your dreams. They exist to keep you small, to keep you safe, to keep you from becoming the person you're capable of being. Reprogram your mind starts with awareness. You need to catch those excuses as they surface and challenge them. Is it really true that you don't have time, or are you just not prioritizing what matters? Is it really too hard, or are you afraid of failing? Once you start questioning your excuses, you strip them of their power. But awareness isn't enough. You have to replace those excuses with action. Train your mind to see obstacles as opportunities, failures as lessons, and hard work as the pathway to greatness. Every time you push past an excuse, you rewrite your mental code. You become stronger, sharper, more resilient. Excuses will always try to sneak in, but the more you reprogram your mind, the less room they'll have to take root. And when your mind is running on a program of determination, discipline, and belief, there's nothing you can't achieve. Failure. Just hearing the word makes most people uncomfortable. They avoid it, fear it, and let it stop them before they even begin. But here's the secret that separates the weak from the unstoppable. Failure isn't the end. It's the fuel. It's the weight you lift to build the muscle of resilience. Every failure is a lesson wrapped in discomfort. It's life showing you what doesn't work so you can figure out what does. But most people don't see it that way. They treat failure like a permanent mark on their record, something to be ashamed of. They let it define them, when in reality, it's the fire that forges them. Look at anyone who's achieved greatness. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, their success stories are littered with failures. They didn't just stumble into victory. They fell, got up, fell again, and kept going. They didn't let failure break them. They let it shape them. But here's the catch. Failure only fuels you if you let it. If you choose to learn from it, analyze it, and use it to grow stronger. If you wallow in it, complain about it, or give up, then it becomes wasted potential. Every time you fail, you're getting one step closer to success if you choose to keep moving. Failure is not your enemy. Fear of failure is. So instead of running from it, embrace it. Lean into it. Because the only people who never fail are the ones who never try, and they're the ones who never achieve anything worth remembering. Motivation is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. We sit around waiting for it to strike, like some magical force that will suddenly make everything easier. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. It's fleeting, inconsistent, and often absent when you need it most. Think about it. How often do you feel like doing the hard things? Waking up early, hitting the gym, staying late to perfect your craft? Not often, right? And that's the trap. People think they need to feel motivated to take action, but the reality is the opposite. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They don't wait to feel ready. They act. They show up when they're tired, when they're unmotivated, and when they'd rather be anywhere else. Why? Because they know that success doesn't care how you feel. It only cares about what you do. Here's the key. Stop waiting for motivation to kick in. Stop saying, I'll start tomorrow or I'll do it when I feel ready. Start now, even if you don't feel like it. Push through the resistance, because every time you act without motivation, you're building a stronger, more disciplined version of yourself. And guess what happens when you consistently take action? Motivation starts to show up. It follows your effort. It builds as you see progress, as you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. But it all starts with a decision to stop waiting, to stop making excuses, and to start doing no matter what. Hunger is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how smart you are, or how many advantages you've had in life. If you don't have hunger, the relentless drive to push forward, to outwork everyone around you, you'll never reach your full potential. Talent alone isn't enough. Hunger is what turns potential into greatness. You see, talent can make things easier at first, but it's not what keeps you going when things get hard. Hunger is. Talent might get you noticed, but hunger is what gets you results. Hunger is the fire that burns when you've been rejected, when you failed, when you're exhausted but still refuse to quit. Hunger isn't something you're born with. It's something you cultivate. It's a decision to want more for yourself, to demand more from yourself, and to never settle for mediocrity. It's waking up every day with the mindset that no one is going to outwork you, outlast you, or out-hustle you. But hunger also means sacrifice. It means saying no to distractions, to comfort, to things that don't serve your goals. It means being so focused on your vision that nothing, no obstacle, no setback, no excuse can derail you. And here's the thing. Hunger is unteachable. No one can give it to you. It's a spark that has to come from within. So ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to do what it takes, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when it feels like no one believes in you but you? Because if you have that hunger, nothing and no one can stop you. Who you surround yourself with is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You've heard it before. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But let me tell you, it's not just a catchy quote, it's the truth. The people in your circle either fuel your growth or drain your energy. They either push you to level up or hold you back from reaching your full potential. Think about it. Do your friends challenge you? Do they encourage you to be better, to work harder, to think bigger? Or do they settle into complacency, convincing you that it's okay to be average? If you're constantly surrounded by people who make excuses, who are content with mediocrity, or who gossip instead of grind, guess what? You'll end up just like them. You need to surround yourself with people who are hungry for success. People who are always striving for more. People who won't let you settle for anything less than your best. These are the people who will challenge you to go beyond what you thought was possible. They will push you, inspire you, and sometimes make you uncomfortable. But that discomfort is a sign of growth. This isn't about being surrounded by yes men or people who only tell you what you want to hear. It's about surrounding yourself with fire, people who are relentlessly focused, who won't let you slack off, who demand excellence not only from themselves, but from you too. So take a hard look at your circle. Are they raising you up or are they keeping you down? Are they pushing you to reach new heights or are they holding you back? If they aren't helping you grow, then it's time to find new people. And remember this, you don't need a huge circle. You need the right circle, the ones who will walk through fire with you, who will push you to be your best even when it's hard, because your circle is the engine that will drive you forward, or it will be the anchor that keeps you stuck. The choice is yours. Pain is something most people try to avoid at all costs. It's uncomfortable, it's exhausting, and it often feels like it's holding you back. But here's the truth. Pain isn't your enemy. Pain is a part of the process. It's the price of growth, the price of pushing beyond your limits, the price of becoming a stronger, more capable version of yourself. If you want to get stronger, you have to break down muscle fibers and let them rebuild. If you want to improve, you have to face the challenges that push you to grow. Pain is the signal that you're in the midst of transformation. It means you're moving outside your comfort zone, and that's where the real work happens. Most people run from pain. They shrink away from discomfort because they don't understand its purpose. But what separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the strong from the weak, is the ability to lean into pain, to embrace it, and to use it as a tool for growth. Pain teaches you resilience. It shows you what you're truly made of. Every time you push through, every time you face discomfort head on, you build mental fortitude, you build character. Pain might be temporary, but the strength it leaves behind lasts forever. And here's something most people miss. Pain is not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're becoming stronger. The more you embrace pain, the more you train yourself to withstand hardship, the more unstoppable you become. So instead of running from pain, welcome it. It's your greatest teacher, your most loyal ally in the pursuit of greatness. When you learn to endure pain and use it to your advantage, you unlock a level of strength that most people will never experience because they're too afraid to face discomfort. Pain is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Success isn't built on big dramatic leaps. It's built on small, consistent wins that accumulate over time. People often get caught up in the idea that they need to make massive progress all at once. But that's not how greatness is achieved. It's the daily actions, the little decisions, the moments when you choose to do the right thing, even when it feels insignificant, that compound into something extraordinary. Think about it. Every time you choose to do something positive, whether it's getting up early to work on your goals, eating right, pushing yourself to do one more rep, or learning something new, you're stacking small wins. These seemingly small actions build momentum, and over time, that momentum turns into a force that's hard to stop. The mistake most people make is that they focus only on the end result, the big picture, and overlook the small steps that lead there. They look at the mountain and get overwhelmed instead of focusing on the next step. But if you break it down, you'll realize that it's the small wins that make the mountain climbable. Here's the truth. Every time you conquer a small task, you're reinforcing your ability to succeed. Those small wins add up and they start to shape your identity. The more wins you rack up, the more confident you become. Your belief in yourself grows, and soon you start to see the bigger picture more clearly. What once seemed like an impossible goal is now within reach because you've laid the foundation, one small win at a time. And the beauty of small wins is that they're within your control. You don't need to wait for some grand opportunity. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to show up, do the work, and take those small steps every single day. Over time, the cumulative effect of those wins will make you unrecognizable to the person you once were. Success isn't a single victory. It's the sum of countless small wins. So start stacking them today. If you want to become a monster, you have to be willing to kill the old version of yourself. Too many people hold on to who they were, what they've been through, and the identity they've built, even when it's no longer serving them. They cling to their past failures, their mistakes, their old habits, and wonder why they can't move forward. The reality is, you can't build the life you want while holding on to the life you've outgrown. Transformation requires letting go. It requires you to shed the skin of the person you used to be, to abandon the limiting beliefs, the comfort zones, and the excuses that have kept you stuck. You have to kill that version of yourself. The one who is afraid to take risks, the one who settles for less, the one who makes excuses. It's only when that old version dies that the new, stronger version of you can rise. This process is never easy. It's painful, it's uncomfortable, and it takes time. But the key to growth is to let go of what no longer serves you. The fear, the doubt, the habits that keep you trapped, they need to die. This isn't a gentle process. It's an act of destruction, because destruction makes room for creation. Think of it like a fire. The old you is the wood. You have to let that wood burn down in order to create the space for the new you to rise from the ashes. The fire might be intense, but what emerges from it is something stronger, more resilient, and more capable. It's the version of you that is ready to face challenges head on, that understands that the past does not define your future, and that knows how to use the lessons from failures to fuel success. If you're not willing to let go of who you were, you'll stay trapped in a loop, repeating the same mistakes, living the same life. But when you kill the old version of yourself, you open up the possibility for something new, something better, something unstoppable. This is the price of becoming a monster. You can't carry your old self with you. You have to leave it behind, step into the unknown, and embrace the future that's waiting for you. One of the hardest truths about becoming great is that you have to be willing to sacrifice. Success isn't free. It requires giving up something in order to gain something greater. People often think they can have it all: comfort, pleasure, success, without paying the price. But that's a lie. Every choice you make is a trade-off. And if you want to elevate yourself to another level, you have to be prepared to sacrifice the things that are holding you back. Success demands sacrifice, and the sacrifices won't always feel fair. You may have to give up time with friends, skip parties, sacrifice some of your favorite comforts, or forgo the easy route for the hard one. But every sacrifice you make for the bigger goal is a deposit in your future. These are the moments that separate the successful from the average. Think about athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs who have achieved greatness. They didn't get there by doing what was easy. They didn't get there by saying yes to every indulgence or every distraction. They sacrificed hours of sleep. They sacrificed time with family. They sacrificed security for the unknown. They understood that without sacrifice, there is no progress. Without giving up the small things, you can never make room for the bigger things that will bring you closer to your goals. The sacrifice might feel painful in the moment, but trust me when I say this, it is worth it. The short-term discomfort pales in comparison to the long-term rewards. Sacrifice is not the end of something good, it's the beginning of something great. It's a necessary part of the process. And the best part? Every time you make a sacrifice, you grow. You become stronger, more focused, and more determined to reach the next level. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up to become the person you were meant to be? The answer to that question is going to determine your level of success. If you're not willing to pay the price, you'll never reach your potential. But if you're willing to sacrifice, you'll find that everything you give up is nothing compared to what you'll gain in the end.